let's move on to most controversial national final. Now, some may argue there could only be one winner for this category, but I am sure I can find some other nominations. The person he gets to nominate first, though, well, let's go straight across to Mitchell.
Okay, well, I'm going to give a nomination that I'm sure is not the first to come up because I know that someone else will. So my other choice is France, and that's only because there was a lot of booing from the fans when the results were announced by the jury, and Bilal was like, what? So yeah, that's what I'm giving my controversial moment to.
Okay, Nicholas.
I think I'm gonna have to give it to Romania. There was definitely also, and I think everyone's gonna mention Ukraine after me, but I'm gonna give it to Romania. All respect to how they chose to do that, but we essentially had two Eurovision fans picking the winner. That's the most controversial for me.
Oben.
Tom, I am also. I think I'm gonna leave the most obvious to you as well, and I'm gonna go to Iceland, which are sending them one of the most probably iconic and most memorable song, which is in a feud of the country that is hosting the contest, which their prime minister, which they invited to a wrestling match with the Netanyahu, and they're planning to protest somehow on stage. So we'll see. So my nomination is by my Iceland.
Okay, Alistair.
Like everyone else, I'm not going to mention the obvious one. I think we're all saving that for you. I'm actually going to go to a national final that every year serves up a good dollop of controversy. It's Italy and the Sanremo Festival. This year, the big fan favourite there was Laura Danaberte, who's a bit of an Italian diva. Has been around for many years, but she just missed out on getting a place in the top 3, and the chance of Laura.
But you know, she'll always have next year.
I thought there was going to be a bit of a riot. I thought we were going to go back to the olden days of the final from a few years ago. But yeah, it was Italy for me.
Okay, moving on to David.
You know, it's going to be obvious. I'm going to leave last. For me, I gotta say, I have two in my mind. I have Australia because I see. Australia's slightly controversial, but I gotta say, man, this is tough. I gotta say Germany because of the final result, because a lot of people was backing Ryan, I think was the others they backed up. So I gotta say Germany, but this was very tough choice because we know the obvious one. So the rest, but the second is really hard.
This is true.
I think Germany, I'd say, is a good choice because they had the Eurovision fan club kind of people vote, and they completely disregarded that because that was a unanimous going to Where You Love, and then everyone else just went, no, we don't want Where You Love. So
very true. Right, Joe, let's take a nomination from you.
I'm going to say Spain, only because of Maria, and I can't remember the lady, but basically them saying, no, I didn't want to compete. Give it to Mickey, vote for Mickey. And I thought Mickey was the best and he deserved to win and he's my favourite and I love him. But at the end of the day, I don't think they should enter a competition that, you know, knowing what the prize is and knowing that they're going to go to Eurovision if they win, to just sort of throw a performance like she did really, and say she didn't want to win, which is a shame. Very
true. Martin?
Yes, well, I mean, all of them, what's been mentioned before, very valid. I think the Romanian one is pushing the main one, which I suspect will end up winning this, which is obviously Ukraine. And we all know what happened there with Jamala interrogating people on, 3 acts on stage. It could mainly Maru, but also, particularly the sisters, Anna Maria, almost making them cry on stage, and then what happened afterwards, where basically a lot of what happened could have all been done at the application stage or just before the national finals. And then, to be fair to all the other acts that were deemed acceptable, they all decided, well, actually, we weren't top, so we're not going, and left Ukraine with no choice but to pull out altogether, which is a shame. Really, we all really wanted to see Maruv with Siren Song at Tel Aviv, but it's not going to be. So there you go. And that, I think that's the main controversial one this year.
Very true. And finally, my co-host Stuart.
So I'm going to go Hungary, and primarily because whilst they had a fantastic final, fantastic semi-finals, the songs that were expected to go to Eurovision, i.e. the Middletons and one or two others, just didn't even make the cut at the end part of the national final, just didn't make it through. So yeah, Hungary. So Hungary have gone for the song that they want to send, which are all props to Hungary, but it's not the song the Eurovision fandom wanted to send, hence why it's controversial.
True. Now, I was going to nominate Ukraine. I think that's the obvious one. I've heard Martin speak about that at length. So I'm going to go for a slightly left field choice here. And I'm going to nominate the United Kingdom. Just because of the slightly controversial way in which the three judges whittled down the acts at the start. And I know a few people have spoken to me how they would have quite liked to have actually voted for people like Holly Tandy. Believe it or not, I've even heard of someone who would have picked up the phone and voted for Maid. And sadly, I am related to them. But we won't talk about my dad's choice in music.